So what did end up happening at that Make America Straight Again conference? That is the story on tonight's episode of Dear Mr. Atheist. I think I just ruined the flow of this, because now the flow would sound so unnatural for me to immediately follow that with, I'm Mr. Atheist, let's do this. That is not the right way to begin this show. For nearly daily atheist content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you ring the bell. And you're especially going to want to do that this time now if you haven't already, because this is going to be a multi-part series. We're going to be going over the Make America Straight Again conference and what happened there, and also talk more about the progress we've been making and the ways we've been battling that organization. But we're not going to just do it 4 episodes in a row. We'll spread it out some, mostly because there's other things to talk about. And I mean, you know, for like the marketability of it all. This is what Donald Trump would do. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to miss out on it. It's all episodes I would hate, so you're going to love it. He's still president. Anyway, they started off the conference in a way I decided to dedicate its own episode to. And to tell you the truth, I can't believe they thought this was a good idea. Listen, they thought it would be a good idea to begin the segment with a call-in show with a phone number that they publicly posted. Now, when you see the video and we're listening to the audio from it, I just want to give you an idea of how this is going to go. You're not going to see them because they didn't appear on the screen. They basically did an audio only portion. What you're going to see is actually the church filling up. And this actually brings me to my first point. Before we jump too much into it, they had talked about how, like, thank you so much for all the free press, because now this is going to be a standing room only event. It's going to be packed and we're expecting hundreds of people to show up. Well, that didn't happen. They didn't even pack the church. They didn't even fill all of the seats. And this is actually just the way it generally seems to look all the time. It just looked like it seems like it was a pretty disappointing showing, but I'm sure they're not going to admit to any of that. Also, they are really bad at throwing shade. For example, here is just at the very beginning.
Glad you're here with us in spirit. Hey, I'm looking at the live chat. I saw some pumpkin heads on there. I wonder where those people came from. We got some perverts watching this too. That's not a surprise. They will be getting their feelings hurt tonight. But that really doesn't take much. That's not much of an accomplishment.
Boy, Tommy, and that is the voice of Tommy McMurtry, if you didn't know. It's really weird you would bring something up like getting your feelings hurt, because I had you whining like a kind of a wuss on your own channel when your feelings were hurt by me. But also, we don't really care about being called pumpkin heads. And, you know, since when has perversion ever hurt anybody? Adult consensual perversion, for the record. You really got to get some fresh material. Now, for what follows, I could tell you there is certain ways I feel about it, but I think it was summed up best by Shannon Q, who you will see was in the live chat on this day before she had gotten banned, which it's funny she wasn't banned by this point because she had already spammed a bunch of pumpkins in the chat. But anyway, hopefully you saw that there in the side chat, her saying, thanks for that number. And they take a lot of calls. There are definitely some calls of support. One thing that's pretty revealing is a lot of them are coming from other congregations from their organization, and people basically whose pastor are speaking at this conference. So they don't really have a very good demonstration of this, that we did all of this marketing and now it's going to be way bigger. They didn't fill all the seats. I don't even know that they filled most of the seats. And at the end of the day, for every call of support they got at least one call that went like this.
I heard a rumor you like pumpkins.
Yeah, that's kind of going around. Yeah, some perverts online, they spread that rumor around, made a whole website about it.
Okay, so first of all, this is a misrepresentation and a lie, and I should sue you for it. I have never said that you, Tommy McMurtry, are sexually attracted to pumpkins. I have merely stated the case that we don't know. We really don't. I'd like to know, but I don't know if you're sexually attracted to pumpkins. I will say, I think you've had enough instances. I think enough people have asked you that your silence has become deafening. And in fairness, let's finish that call because you're asked point blank again, directly.
I guess perverts don't have anything else better to do, you know?
Well, are you sexually attracted to pumpkins?
I've never even heard of anything.
Oh, thank you to whoever that was, by the way. Oh, that made me, it just made me so happy. And Tommy's never heard it. Let's let him defend himself.
Like that before. So you know what? You're an idiot. Go ahead and take a hike. But anyway, all right, another gaytheist called in.
Oh no, he said gaytheist. Let me tell you right now. First of all, this is going to be the only fun episode of these. Not that I'm not going to crack jokes at their expense in the future ones, but this is going to be the only mostly enjoyable episode to watch. Though there are some serious points coming up too. But gaytheist, here's the funny thing. I think they came up with that. And that's not a word that gay atheists are afraid of. And yet you'll see in the live chat too, there are people who are like, oh my God, a gaytheist. Like they legitimately seem to think he came up with it. You didn't.
One pervert call in, one of the gaytheists. And if you don't know what a gaytheist is, that is an atheist that just happens to be gay. Now, I like to say that because I want to just tell everybody right now, I've actually gotten some pretty positive response from the atheist community. Turns out there's a lot of atheists that don't like homos either.
So first of all, as far as using gaytheists to talk about atheists who are gay, but you don't actually know that the person who called in was an atheist who was gay. There are lots and lots of people. And I would even say that it's very likely the overwhelming majority of atheists are at least sympathetic to GRSM causes. Regarding that you have gotten support from atheists, yeah, that probably has happened. I know incel atheists, I know MGTOW atheists, I know anti-feminist atheists, and I know feminist atheists, anti-SJW atheists, SJW atheists, I know gay atheists, I know homophobic atheists, I know straight atheists, I know pansexual atheists. The entire spectrum does exist. That said, I'd kind of like to see this support you're claiming to have. Anyway, another caller comes in and they do talk about something important.
Oh, I heard that you might be sexually attracted to pumpkins.
Yeah, we already answered. Yeah, we already answered that question. So that.
Tommy, no, you didn't. You deflected by saying that you have never heard of such a thing. I'm not saying that you're sexually attracted to pumpkins. I'm saying we don't know. Your silence has become deafening, and when asked point blank, you just won't answer directly. Tommy, I really just think you should make a video saying, I, Tommy McMurtry, am or am not sexually attracted to pumpkins. I promise I will play that and relay it to my audience. I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you're not. We just don't know. All right, taking on what is actually something of a serious point here. Tommy talks about their motivations a little bit. Here you go.
Our motivations are not their motivations. They are judging us the way they are in their hearts, and that's why it's not working. Even in areas where they think they're succeeding, whether it be in the financial end, shutting down PayPals, that's not our motivation. That's not what we're about. So
yeah, so here's the thing. This is kind of like something professional artists have to get over. This is something that people talk about in general, being a YouTuber, and it's kind of a thing that no one really means. This whole, it's not about the money, where they think they're succeeding. First of all, you can't stop talking about us. And so, yeah, in a way, we are actually succeeding. Second, we have financially hurt you significantly. And we'll talk about more of that in the future. We're going to hurt you financially even more. That's also to come. But you know that your message is crippled without money. You know that you need the money to spread out, to build more churches and to get more places. And you and I both know that while you can say it's not about the money, you can't say that the money isn't necessary. The thing I was talking about, like being a professional artist, that's the world I come from. And yes, there are lots of artists who just like to create their art. However, in actually being able to turn it into a profession, that income enables you to do more. It also gives you more time. Any money you are making where you don't have to go work a different job is time you can spend on creating new pieces or learning new skills. Same thing as a YouTuber here. I love my channel. My channel would exist in some form if I still didn't make any money off of it. But it's the fact that it's become my full-time job, that it's my full-time job that I'm able to get videos out to you. That is why you get nearly daily atheist content. Hit that subscribe button. And the funny thing is, this is all coming from Tommy. The reason why Tommy and I have been the ones most publicly at war is Tommy had the audacity to bring me up. I would have just been going after the conference and things more generally. And to tell you the truth, Tommy, you're the weakest of the bunch. You speak with the least amount of fervor. You aren't that compelling of an individual. It just sounds like you are a student relaying the bull crap you've heard. Honestly, in 10 to 15 years, if there's anyone who's going to end up leaving the church and exposing all the bullshit happening behind, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's you, because you actually are the weakest of the bunch. I'm not encouraging you to go out and get stronger. If anything, it's almost a redeeming quality for you if, you hadn't given up your whole life and personality to actually be a bad human being. Here's a small illustration of that when Tommy won't even call me like a fuckface or anything. Here's something when I specifically come up.
I'm trying to think of a word I can use on YouTube for Mr. Pumpkin. So Mr. Pumpkin, man, that guy, he can't take nothing. He gets called a name and then he creates a whole website to me. So we've got Lebanon, New Hampshire now.
So he literally couldn't come up with, maybe they don't swear. Maybe that's why he didn't call me a fuckface. You could have called me like a poo-poo head, but also it's not that great of an insult here. You're telling me that I can't take anything. You literally called me Mr. Pumpkin, and I did exactly that. I took it. I took it from you. Any power you think was behind that is mine now. Look behind me. I got pumpkin shit now. That's a pumpkin Lego set, a pumpkin thing that was crocheted for me. And behind it, there's a pumpkin mug. The pumpkin stuff, you're right. I just couldn't take it. I was just so offended. And by the way, I did not make that website because I was upset or hurt. My feelings, that's not what that website was about. That website, TommyMcMurtry.com, which is in no way associated with Liberty Baptist Church or Pastor Tommy McMurtry. TommyMcMurtry.com is simply a website that exists so that if any individual, like yourself, I don't know, I'm not saying you do or that you're sexually attracted to pumpkins, I don't know. But if any individual finds himself in that situation, I have cultivated a place for them to get their visual stimulus. And I feel like that's a favor done for people like that. And maybe a person like you. Again, I don't know. I would never assume that you're sexually attracted to pumpkins because I don't know. Oops, I accidentally jumped ahead. That all happened after this call.
From Llano, California. Hello, this is Pastor Tommy.
Hi, Pastor Tommy. I just have a quick question for you. How about them pumpkins? Are you sexually attracted?
We got another one. We got another gay.
You don't realize there is such a supportive community here that if that's what you're into, we're ready to embrace you for being you. I swear to God. Honestly, Tommy, you don't realize you would find more fulfillment and happiness if you just came to our side. I said to our side, Tommy, not on our side. You have to ask about that first. All right, we have some more serious stuff to deal with here coming up in a moment, but I want to get past this one more thing real quick.
Hello, this is Pastor Tommy.
Pumpkins. Are you sexually attracted to them? You didn't answer. Tell me, please.
He said, are you sexually attracted to pumpkins? You didn't answer. Tell me, please. Tommy, I promise, if you make that video, I will share your statement and clarify on air. I'll even take your side. Whatever you say, if you say I am not sexually attracted to pumpkins on air, I, from that moment forward, will defend that position. Now, we are working to figure out what our next steps are going to be. Regarding all of these channels on YouTube, we are getting in contact with people that matter to all of this, but I can't give too much away because if they have the opportunity to anticipate a move, they will take advantage of that. For example, something that honestly felt like a bit of a failure recently. We were under the impression that Tommy McMurtry had one more strike to go before his channel would be taken down, and he shared another hateful video. So we reported it. Well, it turns out, I didn't even know this, the content strike system, it begins with a warning, and then you get 3 strikes. And so, in anticipating that we would try and take the channel down, right now his main Liberty Baptist Church channel has videos on it that we haven't gone through and checked yet, and we'll figure it out, but has videos on it that I believe will cover unrelated topics. They cover unrelated things that he feels won't get his channel taken down because they know if they can hold to this for 6 months that those strikes will be lifted and they will be back in full force and they can release more hateful sermons, accumulate a few more strikes, and then be back at it again. Now, that said, he can't live stream from that channel, but that doesn't mean he can't live stream at all. So we are working on a more permanent solution. But be rest assured, they plan to keep making new channels every time this happens. Listen to the good pastor here.
I will say that if it does go down, We've got a backup channel ready to go, but I don't know if I should I disclose our backup channel? I don't know. It will come back up.
They understand that they don't belong on YouTube. They know they're breaking the terms of service, but what they see right now is basically a group of people coming after them, and they believe that it would be a loss to give up on YouTube. Partly, that might be partially because of my fault, because I kind of called them out for that on a previous video. They had been retreating to BitChute. My guess is that they posted some videos on there and immediately saw that they do not have near that reach. Even Steven Anderson, who's afraid to say my name, Steven Anderson has brought up the channels going down and that more will pop up, and then saying that it could actually be a gift because more people will attend in person. We'll see how that goes, buddy. But as the silence from the weeks since this conference happened, you haven't heard much from me. Maybe you thought that was me giving up and me backing off. No, we just had other topics to cover. We had other things to deal with. We're not done with you. We're not done with you until you're done, until you're finished, until you have no more reach. There is nothing that validates your belief. You just take it on faith. In fact, there was another call where he bragged about that, and that's how everyone with conflicting beliefs gets to theirs when you're talking about other supernatural religious beliefs. You can't justify your belief in a way that others can't justify theirs. That's why you're going to lose. And at the end of it, maybe Steven Anderson, at some point, you should ask Tommy this question.
Tommy, please tell me about the pumpkins. Are you sexually attracted to them or not?
Oh, another one of the...
We really do deserve to know. What follows is he talks a little bit about how he's always wanted to do a call-in radio show, that he's having lots of fun with it. He tries to once again overcompensate about all of the support, as though he's at any heightened level of support, as though there is even a chance we've actually been helping their cause, which if you saw the video I already did responding to him talking in his car, it's because they're clearly shook. These are people who don't want to say my name, not Mr. Atheist, or you could also go with Jimmy Snow. Go ahead, say my name. But of course, I'm the snowflake, and I'm the one who's easily offended. But you should know, like I said, they have plans. They're going to pop more up. In fact, let me share one more thing with you here.
I want to just go subscribe to every channel that is associated with this group here today. If you are not subscribed to any of them, go subscribe, because then it'll pop up. But
this is their tactic, and really this is all they've got, besides hoping and praying even for that we'll get violent so they can be violent in return. Otherwise, this is what they have: creating new channels, creating more channels, trying to get their people to subscribe. So you watching, make sure you're following me on Twitter at dearmratheist. If you want to, join the Discord. These are the two places where, when we're not doing it in an actual episode, this is where we activate the crowd. This is where the mob rules, not literally, but while we are doing more than that, and this isn't our only play, we'll shut down that play of theirs too. It'll happen in phases, and we'll be prepared, better prepared than we were in the past. That mistake I spoke about earlier, we're not going to make that mistake again. And down in the description below right now, you will find our anti-NIFB website. This is our counter cult website, and this is something that we put press releases and things out. And if you know relevant people that need this information, look out there as well. Also, if you see new channels pop up, send an email to our anti-NFB email address that is down there as well. This website and email, so much work has gone into it. By the way, a huge thank you to John, who is Godless Engineer, his wife KC, who also is on Godless Engineer's channel, as well as the Non Sequitur channel. Thank you to Shannon Q, who has helped with the press releases and so much research. And speaking of research, Atheist Rationale has done so much compiling and was honestly already preparing for this fight long before we started the fight. If I believed in God, I would think he was an answer to our prayers. But no, he has been absolutely amazing. And so these are resources. We're working on it. We're building. We're going to win this fight, but we'll need your help to do it. So make sure you are following in all of those places. Follow all of those other creators, and there are other creators involved as well. You might have seen that Holy Kool-Aid went down there and led the protest. We also have people like Telltale Atheists at work with their own connections regarding cults. Apologia has been so valuable in getting media contents, and also because he's kind of atheist daddy, let's be real. And of course, Cyrus the Skeptic, who, like this channel, has been covering these individuals, has been talking about them and putting them out there. but in the bad way, exposing them for what they are. And I want you to understand that these are people involving families, involving children. We'll show you some of that in future episodes as well. And when these people who claim to get together in love do that, get together, if I can press upon you the seriousness of this and the way that they are trying to normalize what they are doing, keep in mind, this is the kind of song they are singing.
Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee.
And it should trouble you, that clip, as you look into that audience and you see the back of what is largely a lot of young girls and other children as well, but these are people who are normalizing, trying to use that, what seems like a typical experience of church, to normalize the use of this phrase, hate. This is a radical cult, and we're not battling them for the optics because it's fun. We are doing this because if we can cripple their reach, we can prevent violence. We can prevent this kind of disgusting message from getting out farther than it ever should have in the first place. And it's already further than it should have been. But this is to prevent violence. This is to prevent hatred. And not just in an idealistic way of, oh, look, it's fun when love wins. Doesn't that make you feel great and good? This is serious. So I ask you, be a part of this. Be a part of the solution. Again, follow me over on Twitter at Dear Mr. Atheist. That is the best place. That is where we're going to mobilize. We are going to end it there. Once again, to any patron who wonders why these specific episodes don't have the patron credits in them, you can look actually on Patreon. I made a video a little while back about why that is. But otherwise, all kinds of links and everything to support the channel can be found below. And don't forget those links and email addresses relevant to the movement going forward. Save them somewhere on your computer so that you have easy access to them if you need to get in contact with us or use the resources we are compiling. That is it for me today. Again, more to come. We're going to be covering more of this conference in the coming weeks. Anyways, I'm Jimmy Snow. Go on, Tommy. Go on, Steven Anderson. I know you're scared, but just say that name. I'm Jimmy Snow. Mr. Atheist wasn't my father, but Mr. Pumpkin was my daddy.